Hello, everyone. Welcome to the next session of our Devon and Beyond Did You Know series. In this webinar series, we focus on new features and enhancements of Oracle Cloud Infrastructure and discuss how these solutions empower businesses to achieve greater efficiency, security, and scalability. Whether you are a seasoned OCI user or just starting a cloud journey, you are in the right place to explore what's new. My name is Renu Bhatt, Program Lead for the Customer Enablement team here at Oracle. And joining us today for this webinar are Vijay Sai Virup and Jan Hendrik, both are product managers here at Oracle. Our topic today is implementing virtual desktop infrastructure with OCI Secure Desktops, where you learn how the OCI Secure Desktop service creates and manages pools of virtual desktops, making Windows or Linux working environments available to global workers or temporary team members. Thanks a lot, Vijay and Jan. Please take it over.
Thank you, Renu. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'd like to extend a big thank you to everyone joining us today. My name is Vijay Chitrapu, and I'm the product manager for Secure Desktops. Today, I'm joined by my colleague, Jan Hendrik Mangold. Yeah.
Good morning. My name is Jan Hendrik Mangold, and I'm the principal product manager for Secure Desktops.
Okay, thank you, Jan. We are excited to be here with you to talk about implementing virtual desktop infrastructure with OCI Secure Desktops and explore how this solution can help you enhance your organization's security posture while enabling flexibility for your workforce. We're looking forward to an engaging session and to answering any questions you may have. Okay, so before we dive into today's discussion, I wanted to share a little fun fact, or maybe not so fun fact with you all. Do you know that according to a research, a laptop is stolen every 53 seconds? Yes, you heard that right. Every 53 seconds. So by the time I finish this sentence, somewhere in the world, a laptop being swiped. I too have experienced this. Even my laptop was stolen the day I moved to San Francisco. Okay, now I know what some of you might be thinking, like, I hope it's not mine. But in all seriousness, think about the implications of that. It's not just the device itself. There's a treasure trove of data on those laptops, like sensitive work files, personal information, or maybe even those top secret vacation plans, right? This brings us to why we are here today. With remote work on the rise and employees working from everywhere, the need for secure and reliable remote access has never been more critical. Imagine if you could lose your laptop, but not your work. If all that important data stayed safe and accessible, no matter what. That's what virtual desktop infrastructure, or VDI, is all about. And today, we are going to explore how VDI solutions, especially Oracle's, are stepping up to meet these challenges. Okay. Hello, Jan. So to kick things off, my first question to you is, what are the current challenges organizations face with remote access for employees and contractors? And how do these challenges impact productivity and security?
Well, already a lot of companies are using virtual desktop infrastructure, or VDI, and the trend is growing. And the reason for that is very simple. First and foremost, security. As already mentioned with the fun fact, when you lose your laptop, it's not just the hardware that you lose, you also lose the data. And obviously, the person that steals the laptop then has access to that data. With a virtual desktop infrastructure solution, the data never leaves the cloud. So there is no sensitive data on the end user's laptop or desktop. Another reason is central management of work resources. It basically is all managed in one space, and it can flexibly grow or shrink for seasonal demands. If you have contractors that you need to onboard temporarily. It's also the easiest way to temporarily provide more powerful work environments. A laptop these days has 8 or 16 gigabytes of memory, and some jobs just need more resources to do. And with a VDI solution, you can easily, for a project, provide someone an environment that has many more CPUs and memory than a laptop can have. Another reason that people really flock to VDI solutions is that there is no need to manage and distribute hardware to the end users, particularly for scenarios where you basically have seasonal workers. Just shipping around the laptops takes a lot of time and resources. And another reason is that for a VDI solution, you usually don't need a virtual private network or VPN. Many companies today, particularly with remote workers, deploy a virtual private network solution, which literally brings the laptop into your corporate network, which means everything that's on that laptop is then also in your corporate network, which requires you to do a lot of endpoint management, virus control, and so forth. Whereas with a VDI solution, the client device doesn't even need to be secured because we literally bring the desktop to you and you just interact with that desktop.
All right. That was really interesting. So, figuring out how to keep everyone productive while also staying secure, especially with remote access, is a tough nut to crack for many organizations. It's a big deal, right? And it's something we all need to think about seriously. So, Jan, given these challenges, how does Oracle step in to provide the necessary capabilities to address them? And what do you think makes Oracle's approach to VDI stand out in the crowd?
So uh, the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure provides compute, obviously, and many, many other services as well. We basically built our service OCI native on top of OCI Compute, which means a customer with a tenancy in OCI can simply enable our service, and it will then provision the necessary desktop infrastructure in your tenancy in a compartment of your choosing. And you basically just tell the service which image you want to provision on what shape, meaning like how much CPU and memory, and also which network that desktop should be in. And you have full control over that. And you then simply assign users to these pools of desktops. And a user then can basically go to a URL and see the desktop that they are basically entitled to use, and then just connect to the desktop right from the web browser. And everything
Awesome.
is managed.
Mhm.
Sorry, everything is managed through OCI console and the SDKs, the software development kits, so you can automate everything.
Great. It seems like Oracle is going beyond just meeting basic requirements and is actually tuned into the unique needs of different use cases. That definitely makes a big difference. So, can you expand more on secure desktops and how do these features enhance user experience and security?
Sure. On the bottom, you see the traditional desktop use case where basically people have a laptop or a desktop and they obviously have to sign into their desktop and then they need to authenticate to resources either in a cloud or in on-prem with the aforementioned VPN, for example. And on the top case, you again have a device, an end user device, but this time there is nothing on that end user device other than a web browser that's needed to establish the connection. So you authenticate to the cloud service, and then you will launch the desktop simply through the web browser, which means that all the applications and all the data are in the cloud, and they continue to be in the cloud whether you look at it or not. So you can literally disconnect your laptop from the network or travel from one place to the other, and the session will just be up and running, and you can then reconnect to that session again.
All right. That was really informative. It's really great to know that Secure Desktops is providing such a comprehensive experience. This must be definitely a game changer for organizations that are navigating the complexities of work, remote work. Okay, so as we have already discussed, the VDI landscape is rapidly evolving, right? What are the benefits of using this solution, Secure Desktops?
Well, first of all, it's a managed service that is there's no licensing for the service itself or involved. You basically just tell the service what kind of desktops and how many of those you actually want to provision, and the service will then basically in a fire and forget manner provision those desktops on demand when the end users actually come and request them. The service itself is elastic, which means that you can always add more desktops or can delete desktops if they're no longer used. And in a cloud, the big advantage is that you basically only pay for the resources that you use. Since everything is in one spot, obviously you have a unified, centralized management of the resources. You can easily bring in new people or new desktops for projects and stuff like that. And it is much more cost efficient in the long run because you don't have the capex. Basically, people can use the computer that they already have that you don't need to manage because everything is in the cloud. That is the big key benefit of a VDI solution and secure desktops.
Awesome. That's really exciting to know about all of these benefits. So, innovation is key in this space, right? And it's great to know Secure Desktops is not just keeping up, but leading the charge with these benefits. Uh, could we dive into a demo of Secure Desktops? Because
Yes, of
there's a
course.
saying that seeing is believing, right? And I couldn't agree more. I'm sure even our audience is also eager to see how it all works in real time.
I'm sharing my screen, and all you see is basically my web browser. And in order to connect to your desktop, you basically go to a regional URL. OCI is present in many, many different regions, and we or our service basically provides a regional access URL. So the first thing that happens when I go to that URL, I need to actually sign in. So you enter the tenancy itself, and then you select which identity do you want to sign in with. That happens quickly. And once I'm authenticated, the service then can determine, okay, this particular user, what desktops should that user have access to? And in my case, you see a lot of different desktops because many people use this particular tenancy for testing. And under normal circumstances, a user would see one or two maybe. And then they simply click on the URL to launch into the desktop, which I have already done. So here I launched the desktop basically in the web browser itself. And this is a Windows desktop. And the reason that the web browser is already up there is because prior to this webinar, I connected to it already and launched the web browser. And just disconnecting from the session doesn't influence anything that's running in the web browser, in the remote desktop. It just continues to run. And we not only have a web client to connect to it, you can also download a native client for these operating systems, and then simply switch to the installed client and connect to the desktop again by selecting that link in the desktop page. So I'm going to do that again here. And this time you will see the native client pop up. And you can obviously switch between the different clients at any point in time. You can go from one computer to another and connect to the same desktop with a different client, and the session will basically always follow you. On the other side, the administrator basically connects to OCI console in your tenancy, and the service is available under the compute submenu. We have secure desktops here, and I mentioned the term before. We create desktop pools, which is a pool basically is the definition of what I want to provision, what image, and in what network I want to provision it in, and on what shape. And when I look at a desktop pool, I can also see which users are already connected to their desktops. And obviously, I can then control the individual desktops. I can stop and start or delete them. And since this is just regular compute, I can simply go to the actual desktop compute instance and then interact with it even more fine-grained, just as OCI Compute allows you to interact with the compute resources. There are many different aspects to it. For example, if I already have a pool, I can edit the pool and change particular aspects of the pool, like how many desktops I actually want to provision, whether I want to provision standby desktops, that is compute instances that already are spun up so that an end user that is new to the service will immediately be able to connect to a desktop. Otherwise, they would have to wait until the compute instance actually has been provisioned. And you can control things like device access policy, like so should people actually be able to copy and paste to the desktop or from the desktop? Should they have access to audio devices, microphone and speaker? And importantly, you can enable the remote desktop to have access to your local client's storage devices. You can switch that on, read write or read only, or you can also switch it off. We have use cases internally where we definitely do not want people to exfiltrate any data, sensitive data. So through secure desktops, we can basically provide a work environment where you cannot copy and paste or access local storage. And you can also attach a schedule to your desktop pool where all the desktops basically start up at 7 a.m. in the morning, Monday through Friday, for example, and you can then shut them down at, let's say, 8:30, also Monday through Friday, for example, which means the desktops are not going to be accessible outside these business hours. They won't run at night or on the weekend, which means that you also don't pay for the CPU and memory when the desktops are not running. So all those are essential ways that you can actually deal with the different desktops that are provisioned to users, and you manage them all from this one simple interface. And as already mentioned, there are many other ways. Everything you can do through the OCI console, this web-based interface. You can also do through Python or through the OCI CLI or Java. So you can completely automate certain things that you want to automate.
I have a quick question, Jan. So, can you tell us more about the block storage, the
Oh,
storage? So, can
right.
we attach that to the pools, or is it attached to the user? Can we take the volume and transfer it to the different
Yes.
pool? How does that
Yes,
work?
very good question. Normally, when a desktop gets provisioned, it basically has one disk, which is like on Windows, the C drive, for example. And when users then connect to that desktop and work there, everything is on the C drive. So if anything should happen with the desktop or the user needs to move to a different region or something like that, they would basically lose all the storage that is on that C drive because a new desktop in a different region, a new compute would need to be provisioned. So for that purpose, we allow the provisioning of an extra storage volume that is then being also assigned to that desktop in this particular region, but it is independent of the C drive and assigned to the end user. So when a desktop gets deleted, for example, this volume will survive and can either then be reattached to a new desktop in the same region, or you can simply move the storage volume to a different region. And if the user then grabs a desktop in that region, the existing storage volume will be back assigned to that new desktop for that user in the other region, for example. So there's a lot of flexibility in this and helps users basically keep their data, even if, for example, let's say you wanted to provision more resources for a particular group of users. That means that they basically, you create a new pool with more CPUs and memory. And so for the users not to lose their data, you basically just use those desktop storage volumes, which then automatically in the new pool get reassigned back to the previous user.
Yeah, the question is there any affinity rules for one user always connect to a particular desktop?
Yes, we basically have a one-to-one relationship where a user, when they connect for the very first time, when they're entitled to a pool of desktops, they will be assigned to a particular compute instance, and then will always connect back to the same compute instance. So there's absolute persistence of data, if you will. So as you can see, we have 13 different compute instance desktops here, and every user is basically connected to their own desktop instance.
So Jan, do
Okay.
customers have to pay additional cost for this?
Yes, the service itself is charged by a flat fee based on the maximum size of desktops that you want to provision. And that fee is basically billed as long as the pool exists. You can change the number of desktops that you want to provision, and the cost for the service is then going to be prorated. So usually it's $5 per desktop per month. And if I were to increase or decrease this number, you basically don't pay the $5 until the end of the month. The service is billed hourly. So if you were to use it for the entire month, it would come out to $5 per desktop, but you can basically change this at any time, and then you only pay for what you use. So my recommendation to customers is always to start with a small pool size, even though you know that you have a bigger workforce, and then increase the pool size as you onboard the users to use this service. So you literally only pay for what you use.
The platforms that are supported on this one, like Windows or Linux?
Yes, currently the operating systems supported for the actual desktops currently are Oracle Linux and Windows 10 and 11, people usually use. And soon we'll also support Ubuntu.
Thank you. Are you planning to add more platforms, Jan?
As the demand grows, we will add more platforms, but currently it seems that if users or customers want Linux, they usually want Ubuntu. That is why we're adding it next.
Okay, thank you so much, Jan. That was really an insightful demonstration. It's one thing to talk about capabilities, but seeing them in action really brings everything together. Thank you so much. Okay, as we near the end of our session, I have one last question. How is Oracle staying ahead of the curve? I know that some of our competitors have some similar features, but could you lay out some of the future features that we can expect from secure desktops?
Yes, our service is relatively new. We basically launched that just last year, almost a year ago, and we're continually improving our service. And based on customer feedback, the features to expect are private endpoint access. Currently, all the desktops are being accessed over the open internet. And with this new feature, you will basically be able to restrict access to the provisioned desktops through a fast connection into OCI, which means people literally would need to be in a designated location to even access their desktop. For cost savings, we are implementing hibernation, which means the compute instance will actually only run when the user is connected to it. And when the user disconnects after a grace period, we will simply hibernate the underlying compute, which then allows you to save cost because you only pay for a running compute instance. So when it is hibernated, you won't have to pay for it, but the state of the actual operating system is going to be saved to disk. So when the user reconnects, it will basically just resume where they left off, which is the same behavior which you get with your laptop when you close the lid, for example. Another feature that we're implementing is support for flexible shapes. Currently, we only have three flex presets, so to speak. And in the future, you will be able to create desktops with any number of CPUs right through through our interface. And we will also support more than a single monitor, so multi-monitor will come in the very near future. And then there are many other things that we have on our roadmap that we're working.
So connecting printers and USBs and all that is also part of the roadmap, I believe.
That's absolutely part of our roadmap.
Amazing. Thank you. So there was one more question that if the machine or the desktop is in hibernating state, and when the user connects to the environment, would it wake up the system and then
Yes.
connect?
Yes. As soon as the user initiates the connection, the service will automatically resume the underlying compute, and they will basically just continue to work where they left off.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Vijay, please.
All right. Thank you for breaking that down so clearly, Anne. So to wrap things up, let me highlight some key takeaways about secure desktops. I wanted to reiterate that Oracle delivers the most secure, most flexible, and most cost-efficient cloud desktop solution. Secure Desktops service easily integrates with OCI services, and you can just set up secure desktop pools in just a few minutes. And coming to the management is incredibly straightforward with no need for bundling, and you can use your desired operating system. Currently, we support Oracle Linux and Windows with any supported virtual machine or bare metal shapes in OCI. And coming to the security is top-notch with secure desktops using its own VDI protocol alongside HTTPS, unlike competitors who rely on multiple protocols or third-party technology. Plus, both OCI and secure desktops are built with zero trust, security-first approach. All in all, it's a secure, user-friendly solution designed to meet modern needs effectively and securely. Okay, so here are some of the useful resources if you would like to learn more about the product. So there is the link to documentation where you can find all the details of the service, and there are also links to solution playbooks. The first playbook outlines the detailed instructions on how to set up your tenancy to deploy your first desktop pool. And the second solution playbook talks about Secure Desktop's image builder, which help you to create your own custom Windows image by using secure desktops. And also there are other resources like YouTube videos where you can find the overview video of the service, and also the demo videos, the client demo and the admin demo. And also you can find the image builder video as well. Okay, any questions? We can take any questions.
There's one more question. It says, who
Okay.
will apply the Windows updates? Probably we
The
need
customer. The customer is responsible for providing and updating the resources on the desktop. There's a new service that will soon be released. It's an endpoint management service that will make the task a lot easier.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Vijay, Jan, and our esteemed panelist for answering all the questions also. I hope everyone learned something new today. Our next webinar, titled Report, Monitor and Optimize Your Cloud Spend, will be on Monday, September 23rd, where you will learn how to use Oracle Cloud Service to create OCI consumption reports, find all the information around your OCI resources, and automate OCI financial reporting and forecasts. Please do not forget to go to the Devon and Beyond page and register for our next session. And while you're there, check out the other series and other sessions that we have added on trending topics. So with that, thank you again for joining us. See you all next time. Have a great day, everyone.